Hi, I'm Arlyna. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening where you are. I'm pre-recording my demo just in case something happens with the live stream today. But in any case, welcome to Wanderlust. Wanderlust 2024. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. Um, it's a year-long program, and I'm so honored to be part of one of the guest teachers of the 2024. This will be my second year to be a guest teacher. And of course, before that, I've been a Wanderlust student for about 2 to 3 years now, and I've been enjoying all the lessons, and of course all the teachers are all amazing. And right now up until I think beginning of September, there's the early bird special, which is for only 99. If you sign up now, you get that special price before it goes up to 175. So I wouldn't want to miss this chance if I were you. So just head on to the link in my video, so you can sign up through that link. And because it's an affiliate link, so I will get a little bit of a commission from it when you sign up. So okay, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably see that I do a lot of different types of art. Basically, it's anything that I'm so passionate about. I do a lot of art journaling. I also do urban sketching on the weekend or whenever I can. And I do a lot of watercolor. Well, I used to do a lot of watercolor, but everything is all depending on when I have time to do certain things. So sometimes it would be uh, days where I do a lot of watercoloring, and then there's days when I just do art journaling. For me, art journaling is an expression, well, a bit more of like trying to get out of the boundaries, because I feel like with art journaling or with just doing anything related to art, I don't have to be tied down to a certain sort of rule. Whereas because my full-time job is a graphic designer, so there's so many constant limitations in terms of making sure that it follows the client's guidelines, or it has to meet the client's expectation, and all those sort of things. So being able to do art in the evenings or in the weekend is basically my outlet to just do other type of creating. And art journaling has been quite special, especially during the first time that the world had encountered COVID. And because China was the first one to have experienced this, I mean, I currently live in China, so there's we didn't know what to do. So getting back into art journaling really helped me get through the days, the months that we were in lockdown. And then of course, last year when we had that second wave of lockdown in Shanghai, it was even that was the first thing I turned to, art journaling. So to me, a lot of the art journaling that I do is there's a bit of a blur between what is art journaling or what is junk journaling, or um, uh, scrapbooking. To me, they're all different forms of art. They're all different forms of expression. Maybe there are some ways that I probably just do it in a specific way, but these past few years, I've just been putting things together that works in my art journal and that works for me. And I'm just trying to, not overthink a lot of things. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today with this demo. Is based on a prompt that I've been thinking of a lot, and I feel like this would also be a prompt that um, everyone can reflect on, or will have different feelings towards. And this is the word home. Home as in like the house that you live in, or the people in your house. So the prompt is all related to this, and I wanted us to, I want to invite you to sort of think or deep dive into what home really is like for you. So my suggestion is that, you could write about 5 things, what's in your home right now, or 5 things that you love about your home, or uh, or even just to write a long journal about what home feels right now, or what good or bad. It's more about documenting the current, what is current, what is happening right now, and not to think too much about having something nice to write down that you're not, so that is my prompt for you for today. Um, and before we start working on an art journal, I wanted to just show you the materials that we're going to use. So I'm just going to use the journal I made for Wanderlust this year. So I have my journal here. I'm going to use an entire spread, and then I'm just going to, let's see if I might need to stitch through this side. I'm just going to use this whole entire spread. And then other than that, let me move over here. So we have, I have here my watercolor, brush, water, and let me just show you something else. So I have here a wooden box of stamps, just some vintage stamps. I have another set of stamps here. I mean, these are just things that I just thought that I might need to use later on. I have some washi tapes, and then I have some more washi tapes. I'm not really following a sort of a certain color scheme, so it's just kind of whatever. I mean, go with your flow, go with whatever you feel like using in your art journal. So I've just collected here a few marker pens or acrylic pens of different thickness. We'll see which ones I end up using. And then I've got various ephemeras. Sorry, that's another washi tape. Old tea bags that I'm going to be using later. And then, of course, I have different tags here. Just use whatever you have on hand. And then I've got various fabric, scraps of fabric. And actually, this is a gauze, a bandage or a gauze that you use. So I just painted it up earlier. So you can use that. And then aside from that, I love to add stitching. So I've got here some thread that we will use. Just, so this just get whatever thread that you fancy. There's really like no specific requirement on how thick the thread is, but I like to use a slightly thicker thread than the normal sewing thread. So it could be an embroidery floss, more because they kind of add a bit of depth or thickness, texture. And of course, I need to find the needles, but I have needles here in my bag. That should be here. So I've got needles. So I'll just put that in there first. Just wanted to, we don't need this right now, so I'll just put this away. All right. Let me put these things back in here, apart from the tags. So we'll just use the tags first, and then put this aside. Finally, I just have here a box of stuff, various papers that's been sitting on my desk. So I'm not going to overthink about which ones work. I just gathered up whatever I had here, and I have here a box of different stamps that I could also use, or maybe not use, but just add it to my ephemera stuff. So let's okay, so now that we have all the materials, actually, because we're going to be using watercolor, and it might take a bit of time to dry, so I thought that maybe we could get started first on adding a bit of, colors to this, to the background, for both this and the tags. But this is, okay, let me just try to get this, and then let's get started. For the watercolor, I don't want you to overthink how we're going to we'll just do a bit of abstract, laying down some marks on here, and let's see, because this is a mixed media paper, so I think usually the watercolor gets absorbed quickly, and you don't have to be specific about the kind of paper that you're using. Sometimes it's actually quite fun to use something like a different paper other than the watercolor paper, because then you get to experiment with how they react to the paper, how the watercolor reacts to the paper. A lot of the what I enjoy about the watercolor is this past few months that I've been playing with watercolor is the blooming effect. Sometimes depends on what the art that you're doing, but because I've been doing a lot more of intuitive watercolor painting, so I've been experimenting, and I've been loving a lot of the blooming effect. So that basically happens when you drop a bit of water on top of your paint. So let me just show you that. So what I want to do is just fill this up with some colors, and then see what happens. So I like to use a lot of circles for my, in my art journal. There's something about the circle element that just sort of is, has these positive vibes. I think it's more because it's, kind of complete and stands on its own as well. So, okay, so this is when I add a bit of water. You'll see. I mean, you can experiment with how you add a bit of water to here. So maybe I have a little bit of that. Okay, I didn't realize I had still some orange colors in my brush. So this is what I'm going to just do. I want to just, if you have a flat brush or round brush, it doesn't matter. Just lay down some paint, lay down some water, and that's it. Let's try to make this a little bit more colorful, because a home has a lot of things that's happy, sad, lots of things to celebrate about. you know, just it's part of life. It's colorful. So that's my thought behind this, and um, just adding a bit, lots of different colors to just kind of show that, well, the spice of life. That's that's a that's a term that you're familiar with. And plus, there's also the saying, what goes up goes down. So there's like, you know, the circle element. For me, it's like the wheels, the circle of life. You know, take whatever metaphor you want to take with this, but for me, that's just how it is. And then, yeah, if you can have your paint sort of touch just a tiny bit of the edge of the other one, of the other circle, then, you know, you get this kind of blooming effect, which is quite interesting. Yeah, I like that too. And you can vary the circle size. So see, I kind of like that part where, maybe I'll show a little bit. So this part where you see a bit of the colors mixing up. So I'm going to, I mean, sometimes I just, you know, don't overthink and just put down colors that I I that I like to put down. And probably sometimes they probably don't go well together, or they're not complementary, but sometimes I just, because this is just for the background, so I don't want to think too much about the color wheel right now. Important thing is just to have these sort of elements as my background. Okay. And, you know, just doing this kind of background sometimes can be so meditating that I just, you know, I just love it. Sometimes I can get carried away uh, making so many of these circles, just, and, you know, experimenting with, let's say, dropping a different kind of color onto it can be, you know, very fun to see what the result is, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, so for example, sometimes I might add this here, or yeah, I shouldn't try to get it too wet because my paper is not watercolor paper. So if I get it too wet, might not be able to get it dry quickly in time to finish this live stream. So let the colors just play around with each other. That's part of the fun. And I always like to do a lot of playing in my art journal, because a lot of experimenting and seeing what works, what doesn't work. And, you know, sometimes I might not be happy with the result, but that's okay. That's part of playing. That's part of experimenting to see what I could do and what I can't do. But and sometimes if you just, yeah, you just let the colors touch a little bit, and then you will see the different colors pushing against each other, and that's fine. And then yeah, you see this effect is quite different. This effect will be different if this is a watercolor paper, but because I'm not using a watercolor paper, so again, like I said, the effect of the paint and the water and how they mix together might not be the same. So it's all experimenting to see what can work. And you can even overlay some of the colors, because watercolor is so transparent. So you know, you can just layer, and that's the great thing, is to be able to have these kind of transparent overlapping part. That's where sometimes the beauty is. Yeah, part of the orange has mixed with the dark pink purple kind of blend, and that's fine. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll let this dry for a bit, because then I can hold on. I can add a bit of layer again later on. Well, maybe I'll put that there first, and I'll work on the tags. So I'm going to work on 2 tags just to see, you know, what the effect is. The different tags. These are like different sort of surfaces. Like for this one's got a little bit of a matte, soft, smooth finish, whereas this one's like a typical manila tag, so slightly thinner than this tag. So on this one here, I just wanted to add some colors. I don't want to, we don't need to build circles, but it's up to you. You could also create some wash, because what we're going to do is, like, this would be the ground, and we will put a house here in the middle as the main element. So I just kind of like mimic a bit of the sky. It's going to be just very random. See, the watercolor, they all have different sort of reaction to the paper, because like for this one, the paper gets absorbed quickly, whereas this one, the paint sort of stays on the surface. I'm not really very keen about this kind, but that's fine. This kind of reminds me of the Yupo paper, the one that you use with alcohol inks, I think. But it's that kind of similar sort of surface. That's okay. I'll just do some sort of random coloring on top. Let's see what other colors. Yeah, that should be it. I don't want to overwork it. I just wanted to have a bit of colors on top, and then we'll see how it goes. And because, like for the manila tag, this one's a little bit, you know, absorbs the water, so I'm just going to do some random markings here. And I'm not even going to try to make this smooth or make this look nice, I'm just going to add a bit more kind of random markings here. So, okay, this is dripping a little bit. Yeah, it's because the surface on this substrate's a little bit too smooth. So it's kind of dripping. It won't stay on the surface. I mean, it won't stay on the paper. Just do a little bit of that. Okay, so let's see. I need to let it dry again. I'll put that on this side, and I'll go back to this, and let's just add a couple more layers to the colors, just so I want to fill up a bit more of the white area. Maybe I'll do a bit more of the empty circle. Yeah, I like it when the colors like this, like you see the underneath layer, there's a little bit of an overlap. I've got, let me see. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you've got an imperfect circle. You don't need to worry about it too much. You just need to add, I think, a little bit more, and then it should be done. Maybe I should add a bit of orange. I think I might have already forgotten the orange part. Sometimes if I'm so fully, mesmerized by my watercolor, sometimes I get all quiet. So um, it's just probably like I'm in the flow, so and just enjoying what I'm doing. And so maybe I might not be saying too much. Yeah, I think that should be it for now. I'll just put this away for now. I could leave some space on my table. wait for this to dry a bit. Actually, I should get a dryer, so I apologize. I have to step away and get a dryer first. I'm back. Sorry, I completely forgot about getting my dryer next to me. Anyway, I'm working in my living room, and I have this table where I do my art journaling. So this is the only place that's big enough for me to be able to work on. So now that I think this, yeah, it's a bit dry now. So I think what I would like to do next is to add a bit of collage in here. But the collage that we're going to add is a bit more of creating a horizon. And let's see, I mean, you can choose between the tags that you created, which ones you think you want to use, or which one works best. This one's a little bit still wet, so I think maybe I'll put this here. It's dry now, but yeah, so that will probably be where I'm going to put my tag. But before we create the tag, I wanted to add a bit of collage here, just so there's a little bit of kind of a horizon here, and where we can lay this down on top. And let's see. So I'll get my collage materials. I'll put this here on the side first. So I'll try to see what paper stuff I could put down. Maybe I'll do this later. Maybe I'll use some, get some papers first to lay out here. So just put this around a bit, and maybe I'll put my screen a bit smaller, just so you can see more of my table. All right, so I'm just using a normal glue stick, and what I'll do is just find some bits and pieces of papers that I can put together here, and just create a sort of landscape or a horizon line here. So it doesn't have to be, I'm not looking at anything that is specific color. I'm just going to see what I can find in this, I don't know what this is, in this box here, and see some things that I can maybe use and tear off. There's some various paper that I haven't thrown away. Maybe I should throw away, but I can't get myself to throw away. Um, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who has this problem. So this is an envelope, probably. I'll check that later. I don't know, do you think this is trash or is this like collage materials? I'm just going to pop in different things that I have here, just to create a little bit of interesting texture. I mean, I have much more materials than what you see here. It's just that I just thought I'd limit it to what's in that box rather than you know, put too much in front of me and then having to rethink what I'm going to use. So anyway, so this was a little bit thick. I think I got this from someone. So let me try to put this together. I don't want to have something that's way too thick, and then I'll have trouble laying it down. So I'll just use these smaller bits of paper first. The important thing is for me to have a bit of cohesive look across the spread. So we're just going to, I'll start with these first. These are things that, let me see, maybe I'll fold my journal so that I fold this cover inside that way. Okay. Actually, like this part. I might also just use some washi tape then. That can create a bit of a dark. Okay, let me see. Sorry, this is just how I work. I sometimes change my mind. I guess everyone has that same situation too. When you have something and then you suddenly get distracted. That happens to me a lot. I have so many things in my mind that, you know, so many ideas. Like even for this one, there's so many things I wanted to do, and I keep thinking, is there something I have to constantly think whether this is something that everyone would enjoy doing, or was it difficult to do? So I just want to see that, make sure that, you know, whether you're new to art journaling or, you know, you've been doing this a lot, that, you know, you get a bit of fun making something on your page. Okay. I don't want to use big paper, so if you see, I'm just stripping down paper because I don't want something that's way too big. And if you like to do collage, and sometimes, you know, just going and putting things down without overthinking can be quite liberating. So just put some washi tapes here. And then I'll add some more black and whites here. Just so that I have a bit of contrast in certain parts. And I can also make this pop a bit. Your journal pages and my journal pages would definitely look very different from each other. So you don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing. The whole concept is just to lay down something that will bring these two spread together, and as well as when we add the tags. So you can lay down whatever paper that you have, whatever colors, just to, I mean, this is all very colorful. Well, for me, that's just what life is all about. There's a lot of colors, and that's why I wanted to like put this in as many colors as I can. Oops. Okay, I might add some more later, but for now, okay, maybe I'll add a bit more of this, but because this is too thick. So what I'll do is fold this up just so it's easy for me to glue this down. And then I'll just use my scissors just to make sure that's folded a bit. Okay. I might just stick this in underneath just so there's a little bit of, layering that goes on. So it's not too, I kind of like this randomness of this holes from the paper. So let's see. Okay, I think I'll use, this is a PVA glue. I'm just going to use this because this is a bit heavy, just a bit thick. Just want to make sure that this gets stuck in place. It doesn't. Okay, I just need to hold it in place for a bit and then it should be okay. Okay, I think that should be okay to stick. All right, so that's currently how my page is looking. How are you doing with your pages? Have you managed to find some papers to put down? I need to add a little bit more. This thing is sticking out, this washi tape. Maybe I'll take this out, but maybe just keep it in place. Let's see. I kind of like these numbers here. Should be, no, so this one's sticking out now because it's not held down in place as much as I would have wanted it. Let's see, I need to wait for a bit. Okay, let me try to bring in these elements that I showed you earlier. I like these gauche because this is so light, and you can color them up and they add a bit of texture. Actually, kind of like to have these elements because then it's see-through and I can still see a bit of the background here. And I might start using a bit of this. This is tea bag. Let me see. Okay. Oops. Okay, I didn't clean this tea bag as well as I thought I did. So let me just see if I could put this on, or maybe no need. I'll just see. All right, so for now, this is how my page will be like. I will put this down later together with the tag, and I actually want to have a bit more here in the background. That way my tag will stick out, will stand out. So what I'll do is actually just kind of lay down a bit of things that I will use as a background to go underneath here. So it could be just different elements actually. Actually, maybe I'll look for book pages. Maybe those will work better. Because it's too busy, I need something a bit more neutral. Maybe something like this. Okay, I need to audition all the things that I need to put underneath here, but basically now, because I wanted the tag to stand out, I wanted to add a little bit of elements on the background that is not too busy. So I will use a bit of this and get this off. Maybe tear this in half, so that way this can be under here. I could just play around with this texture and see how things go. Yeah, so that will at least, I could even have this as part of the background. So see if I could cut. So right now I'm just kind of auditioning the different elements that I have before I start laying things down, and before we work on our journal. So I'm just kind of putting different elements, and just to see if I could let the tag pop out some more. Okay, so typically that could be a way of how to do the page. And, this could be an option for me, and this looks okay. All right, so yeah, I think that would work with all the different elements. All right, so maybe let me just see if I could stick this down in place. See if I will remember how to put this down. Okay, so let me use this other glue. So just a bit of that going across. I'm just going to add a bit of glue down. Okay, I have to see if I can still remember how I put this together. Oh, I mean, honestly, sometimes what I end up doing is slightly different from what I initially had laid out. I mean, I could take pictures, and then sometimes I just change my mind when I'm actually putting it down. So we'll see. I'm not really putting a lot of glue because later on we're still going to do something with the tag that will make it make sure that we've adhered it properly on the tag. No. Let's see. That should be okay. And then just add this a little bit of element here so that when I put that on top, maybe something like this. That could work, or maybe not. Yeah, I'll have that. Okay, now that should be about it. And so the next thing that I actually wanted to explore with you is adding a journaling. But what we're going to do is add the journaling on the back side, and then we're going to build a house. Let's do some journaling first. What I'm going to do is stamp out the front side with the words home. Let's see. Okay, I need to find all the different letters because this is all very random. So sometimes I just want to also do a bit of play in terms of how I'm stamping. So it doesn't have to be exactly correct. Okay. Now that I've got that, so I just need to make sure this is a bit dry because like I said, the substrate, the ink doesn't get absorbed quickly, so I need to make sure that it doesn't smudge when I write on the back side. Okay, so on the back side, like I mentioned earlier, the prompt is to write about home, what home means to you right now. You can have a bullet list, or you could just do a paragraph, or you could just have 5 words maybe. It doesn't have to be complicated. So what I'll and another thing I wanted to write about home. I'm just going to use a pencil. I wanted to say how things are currently at home, and especially with kids going to university next year. I have 2 kids, by the way, and they're both going to university because they're twins. So I'm kind of wanting to just savor everything about my home right now in my family life. So I probably would write about, let's see, okay. Anyway, that's my journaling. So you could write whatever you want, or, do whatever journaling you feel like. And then what I'll do is, because this is more personal journaling, so I'm not going to stick this down, but I'm going to just cover it up. That way, it's more personal and it's for me. And then, okay. So I mentioned earlier that we're going to create a house. We're going to build a house, and what we're going to do, if you have any scraps, you can use whatever color you have. So because I think I could maybe use these are things that I already have in hand. So what I'll do, okay, this is very easy. Don't have to make it too complicated. But because I want to use these colors here. Maybe I'll just cut it into a single piece and use this as a metaphor for a house, or like as a representation of a house. So I could maybe do this. I just realized that because I've already got a green background, that this green might not show up. So maybe I have to change to a blue one. Maybe it'll show up. Yes, blue's better. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll put this here. Just put it around there, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, that should be okay. And actually, I'm starting to get a little bit too creative, I think. I was thinking that maybe I'll actually make a hole here. That way I have a window. So let me just do this on the side where my cutting mat is. So just get a sharp knife, cutter, and I'll put a blade. I put a house. Use a sharp knife just to cut it out, and then I'll just do a door here. Okay. Yeah. So I will actually just glue this down. If you were in Wanderlust 2023, you would remember that we were doing a lot of cutting of flowers with my class. Sometimes just those simple acts of cutting paper or fuzzy cutting pictures can be quite meditative. I'd like to just create some various cuttings sometimes in my art journal, and I don't use pencil, just see what I come up with. I let my hand do the walking or the cutting, or however you want to call it. Let me just try to, or maybe I actually, yeah, I'll use this to just highlight the window and the door. And we can add some pattern here of the house, the roof. A few years ago when I did my 100-day project, I was doing a lot of cutting, which was, quite enjoyable because I wasn't sure what I was cutting next. I just see how it all turns out. That's my little house. Okay, and then next, now we're going to do the fun part, which is putting this down in place. Before we do that, I will actually I should probably add a bit of washi tape just to kind of hold it in place. Let me see, why is this not, can't find the edge to this. Oops. Okay, I don't know where the edge of this tape is gone. Let me try another tape. Yeah, I'll just do a very simple one like that. Maybe add one more. Just kind of, I mean, this will just sort of brings it all together, all the different elements. So, okay, next thing we need to do is actually do some stitching. So what I will do is, let me see, let's put this, I've got this ugly cutting board, and I'm going to just use that so I could do some, punch some holes into here. I've got, okay, I'm using an awl. So if you don't have one, it doesn't matter. You can use a big needle or the tip of a cutter. Like if you have a cutter, just use this tip to punch some holes. Especially if your journal page is quite heavy, then it kind of helps just to get the string together. What I will do is just do some random holes, and actually I might even want to have a bit of hole somewhere here, right here. You don't have to make it all even or look perfect. Mine is just random holes, and the spacings are not even. Sorry, it's not even at all. So it's just I wanted to be a bit more random. I don't even know how many holes I've already created. Let's see. Just add a little bit more. Yeah, I think, sometimes with this stitching, don't worry too much that it's stuck. You have stitching here on this other side where maybe later on you're going to work on. It doesn't matter, because actually those stitching will actually create a bit of a texture for you for your next spread. This is why I directly do the stitching on my journal more, because I don't really want to worry too much about having that extra space there. So I'm trying to decide actually if I wanted to use a very bright pink or if I should use this blue one. Maybe I'll use the blue one. I actually quite like that texture. I bought that thread from a seller who hand dyes thread, and they're quite substantial in terms of the thickness. I quite like that. So yeah, I'll use a thicker needle. So I think yeah, like I mentioned earlier, you could use whatever thread that you have that you want to use. It could be embroidery thread or it could be just normal thread. But if you're going to use just a normal sewing thread, then I would recommend to, like double it up. So if you're sewing, so for example, you would have a thicker thread. Okay, I'm trying to, hold on. Oh my gosh, okay. Just looking at the time and making sure that I don't make this too complicated. Okay, I'm having a bit of trouble trying to get this through the hole. Not because it's thick, but it's just kind of separating. Oops. Okay, I'll try the other side. We're almost there. Just bear with me. So, okay, I'll just do a bit of knot here because I just don't want it to go to get past. So, and then you can start doing some stitching. So, having those punched holes will help. Oh my God, I cut a very long string, so maybe I could do several rounds later. So the way I'm stitching is actually not embroidery, because what I wanted to do is do a very, very random swish, like sweeping stitching across. So it's kind of like anchoring down your home, your journal, you know, and kind of also emulating the landscape. Oops, sorry. This is the tricky part. It's making sure that so I could like redo it into the same hole. I just wanted to have a bit, randomness kind of going on rather than everything's, so it doesn't have to be that it's exactly the same place. this one's not going to, I don't know what the problem is. So I'll try a different hole. Oops. Okay. Probably this hole did not push through, so. So while we're stitching, maybe I'll just let you know that the early bird prize is happening now. I mean, Wanderlust 2024 is definitely going to be yet another year of wonderful classes, amazing teachers, and you know, I'm excited not just to teach, but also to be a student of Wanderlust, and it's definitely worth all the 99 that you pay now for the early bird price. So yeah, sign up for it. Sorry, I'm in the middle of this and I just don't want to forget to remind you about the early bird price before it runs out, and especially because it's a very limited number that's available. There's only, I think, 2,000 seats available, so don't miss your chance for it. My class is all about documenting your life. So we will go through, basically what I would call a hybrid sort of art journaling, where there's a little bit of materials that you already have that you use for journaling, and at the same time I'm going to just use washi tapes or stickers or stamps, things like that. So nothing fancy, and definitely it will be worth. I always look back at my journals, and just sometimes so glad that I got to document certain things in our lives, especially since I'm not originally from Shanghai. So having lived here for 20 something years, to me, there's so much that went on, so many things that I'm so glad I got to experience. I don't know what the next chapter is going to be, so every day I just want to enjoy and document what we do, and and I would encourage you to also do the same in whatever form you're comfortable with. It's definitely something you won't regret doing, that's for sure. So, okay, let me try to show you. So this is currently my art journal. Okay, this is just an extra string. It doesn't really matter. I could just have it like that. And as a final thing, maybe since I found this, I could maybe use this as a tag. I mean, as a accent for my tag. So yeah, and then I have my pen, so I might as well use this to do some more markings if you want. Yeah, I actually like this gold, and it's from Fidget. It's very very glittery, so I probably would just add a bit of marks here and there. There's other gold markers, so it doesn't really matter what acrylic markers you use, but I quite like this marker. Oops, and I want to add a bit of elements that kind of brings it all together, that makes the tag stand out, yet at the same time also part of the whole landscape. So I don't know, is that like a contradiction? I don't know. Let's see, whatever works. Yeah, it's more of just trying to make sure that we have a bit of a cohesive elements and they're all kind of together. There's different elements that will bring it all together. I hope that you enjoyed this demo, and hope that this will also encourage you to do some more documenting in whatever different, whatever you're comfortable with. There's really no rule that it has to be a certain way, or that you have to buy a special journal just to document your life. For me, all these little notes that I have in my journal are a great way to remind me of what's happening right now. And sometimes, when I open my journal and then I see these little bits of journaling hidden or tucked away, it kind of, brings back all those fantastic memories or sad memories, but nevertheless, they're all memories that, that I like to be able to have a record of. Sometimes I even forgot what I've written, but then when I open my journal maybe a year or two later, and it just brings back a lot of memories. And my kids enjoy flipping through my albums, the albums that I've created too. So yeah, I think that's my big reason why I document. And now, because I do a lot of art journaling, I'm trying to also incorporate a lot of that into the art journaling practice. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this little demo, and hopefully to see you in the Wanderlust class of 2024. All right, take care. Bye.